First place, my little say was first. I wouldn't say it was bully ball. It was more physical than anything. I just called keep it. Today was totally different. They brought the game to us initially. They were more physical. They played really fast, and I think they kind of surprised us a little bit. Even when makes and misses, they were pushing the ball, getting out in transition, getting some easy ones at the basket. They shot 2 or 3 throws in the first quarter, so it was 16 in the first quarter. So that was their game plan, to come in and get us a foul trouble, push the pace a little bit, but that kind of played into our favor and how we want to play.
Brad, I was just hoping you could put into words the feelings that were going through your head at the 5-minute mark when you walked to the bench, as opposed to watching John score that layup around the 2-minute mark.
Yeah, when they initially called me for my 6, I was beyond emotional, beyond mad, frustrated. Pretty much any synonym you can add along that list. And I really honestly thought they were going to keep me out of the game because I was so mad, but I was happy that they didn't do that. I just kind of gathered my emotions, gathered my thoughts, and told my team that we were going to win regardless. I knew especially if we got John still in the game. I love our chances. He did a great job beating guys, icing the game, a nice jumper in the corner. And doing everything, getting stops, so there was definitely a maturity level that I hate in the face of adversity that I have to overcome, and just gathering myself and being a leader and being vocal and keeping everybody encouraged in the game.
Right. Did the official explain why he called that foul?
No. He wouldn't explain it. Now there was no explaining to do. It just was what it was. My teammates wouldn't even let me argue with him. So, it just, he made the call. I can't go back and change it. We won on top of that, so that's all that mattered.
John, Brad, this is for the both of you. You used the word, Brad, adversity, but to the both of you, what does it mean when you can lose a player like yourself and then go to the last 5.5 minutes and pull out a playoff game that you have to have?
Really just having trust. Just having trust in my other teammates, knowing that he had it going for us. He was leading scorer for us, just being aggressive. But we've been in situations with me being on the court and dealing with injuries and Brad being have to be the guy, and vice versa. So I think all those guys just felt confidence and just took on the challenge of getting stops as much as possible and just trying to score the ball.
John, how important over here? How important is it? How important is it for you and your teammates to not only be physical but aggressive in this game 4?
The same mindset we had coming into game 3, we got to have that same type of focus going to game 5, knowing their crowd's going to be into it, knowing they're going to try to use that as much as possible. But at the same time, we got to do a better job, just not trying to get in foul trouble. It's kind of easy said to them, but we're playing so aggressive, we're playing so hard. You're trying to fight every loose ball, every possession counts and matters in the playoffs, and you kind of get put in bad situations. I feel like the last 2 calls he had was kind of the same type of day. In game 3, keep got in foul trouble early, but we just got to go out there and play hard. We know what we can do to beat this team. We know what we got to do to stop this team.
John, going down the stretch in the absence of Bradley, can you talk about your leadership scoring 10 of the last 14 points for your team?
Just going and tackling. Even when Brad's in the game, he's telling me to be aggressive, but at the same time, I'm trying to keep him going and play my game. That's get my teammates involved and trying to make the job easy for those guys. And they knocking down shots and cutting for me. I'm easy, get my opportunity to score the ball. But when Brad went out, I knew I had to do whatever it took. Guarding DeRozan, making plays, scoring the ball, and passing the ball. I just wanted to do whatever so we can advance to game 5, tied 2-2.
To either one of you, in the fourth quarter, how tough was it, and how without Beal for them, but to be able to deal with Wall and what happened in the last 5.5 minutes of that?
We got on the road. We got a rhythm. They all became aggressive. John got aggressive. Hit some big shots for him. We can execute. Myself took the bad shots. Let out to them, getting on transition, getting some easy buckets. Put them on the free throw line. They executed. We couldn't get a stop and we couldn't get a bucket.
DeMar, do you think this loss was a product of something that Washington did or an
maybe some breakdowns on the team's behalf.
I think we had 18 turnovers. Can't have it. Can't have it. I think we got stagnant. Like I said, I took some bad shots that I wish I could have it back, but we just gotta watch film, understand what we gotta do. Me and him understand how much better we have to be, especially late game situation.
Kyle, what did you see in that last 5 minutes from their defense in particular?
They were aggressive, but we missing layups, shots, and we passed a few shots. We weren't as we didn't move the ball as well. We got just stagnant. We just got to continue to play an offense and when we're swinging, we stay mentally strong.
Kyle, to that point, how much is their switching, which they weren't doing as much of early in the series, having an impact on the stagnant?
The switching is definitely changing things, but we're still getting off of it. We're still getting in the paint. We're still drive, kicking, swinging. When they're making the runs and the switching, we still got to play our game. We still got to get one big down, play our offense. I think tonight we didn't completely stick with our offense. But it's a learning lesson. They protected home now. We got to go back home and protect home.
What's going on, everybody? It's another week, another day here in the studio. Tune in to Focus TV. We got Miss Octavia White here. We got Cardell Dudley. About to mess your name up.
I was going Carl.
Hey, I was about to say Carell and Steve Carell. I'm Wilson Tarpe. Junior, we got a guest with us tonight to open up tonight's show, Mr. Keon Hill. I got the guest name right, Cardell. So I think that's important. Okay. So Keon, last time you were on, it's been a while.
Yes.
I know you guys been busy. So over at Dream Big DC,
Definitely.
know we got some things coming up. Let us know what's going on, man.
Man, so we got a big event May 18th, Friday night, 7:30 p.m. It's an event called Dream Talk. We had it last year, our first year. Had about 250 people came out, great turnout. Basically, it's going to be a panel of young African-American leaders to share their story, tell their dream, and kind of inspire others. And then right after, we'll have a social networking event. So be around like minds, we can bounce off ideas, get opportunity to meet new people, and it's all free. So we have food trucks, games, vendors. It's something that you do not want to miss. So please come out.
All right, last year we talked about some of the adversity you guys have faced in trying to put these events together.
Right.
What's it been like this go round?
It's still nervous. Like you don't know what's gonna happen. Like I remember I told y'all last year, like 5 minutes before, it was like 20 people in the crowd, so I was nervous but then as it got on, people started coming in. So it's kind of like the same mindset. I'm having an open mind, just trying to go in, just hope for the best. I don't really try to worry about the people, just make sure that we're able to inspire somebody. Because as long as we inspire at least one person, that's the goal.
All right, so last year, I don't believe there was a networking event.
No, so we added this piece.
So what was the thinking or the reasoning behind that? Because we know the message was really well received last year.
Right.
So did that play a role into
Definitely. And then I just seen, I feel like we're at that age, like our age group, 23, 24, 25, that 20 to 30 range was an opportunity for us to really meet new people. Everybody always talk about we're in the same circle. So I give an opportunity to meet new people that have like minds and the people that want to grow and be a better person. So I think it's just a perfect opportunity.
Cardell?
One question I always wanted to ask you, have you noticed a different impact in the community where you come from since you started compared to prior?
Yeah, definitely. There's in school, I'm studying school counseling right now, and there was a research study by George Messer. He's a professor at University of Indiana. And he came down to D.C. to do a study on role models in the African-American community and how they play in the mills. And he did it about 50 schools in D.C., and he developed a questionnaire, and he asked them, identify one role model that you see, and out of all the students, like 1,000 students, 90% of them said they look at athletes. And then 8%, and then the other 8% was entertainers, and then 2% was undecided. So it's like, we see it now, J. Cole talk about, I turn the TV on, not one hero in sight, let's see dribble, or he fiddle with mics. Meek Mill, young brainwashed. They just want to rap and hoop. It's like we got to change the narrative. And I'm starting to see that with events like this. My boy doing social network events. We're aspiring in the youth. It's like we got to change this narrative that we're just athletes or entertainers. We could be more. So I seen that a lot.
What about the the female side of things? Because normally when I see networking events, it's more male dominated,
Right.
more catered to male interests.
Uh-huh.
What about the female side?
And that's why I was like really prominent on having at least 5 females on the panel, because I wanted them to be able to see that you could be an aerospace engineer, you could be a professional dancer, you could be an entrepreneur. Like, it's not just limited to what the media portrays as females or males in the African American community to be. So I think they do come out. It's like it's starting to grow as far as the female side, but hopefully we see a big turnout on May 18th. So.
All right, man. So, lastly, what's the biggest thing you want people to take away from this year's event after knowing how last year's event went?
I just want to see people make a change. Like, I think a lot of times, like, everybody has that dream or that one thing that they want to do, but not willing to make that sacrifice. And I think when you hear from somebody else's story, you get an opportunity to see that they was able to make that sacrifice. Why can't you? Like, we all can put our shoes on, tie our shoes the same way. We all bleed the same blood. Like, we all got the same opportunity. So just go out and do it.
What advice would you give to people? And a lot of people may want to go for it, but they're scared, nervous.
Right.
Fear stops a lot of people. So, what advice would you give to those people to pursue their dreams and goals?
I think first you got to identify what exactly you want. Mm-hmm. Like, don't just chase a dream just because you see somebody else doing it. You got to see what you want and what you feel like God has called you to do. And then once you figure that out, identify somebody that's in your lane or your realm that you want to follow. So if you want to be a dancer, look up professional dancers in the DMV area that you might be able to reach out to, connect, ask how their dream was accomplished or how they got to where they want to be. And then you can be, because you'll be surprised what a DM might do or a networker. Like, somebody will respond to you if you got the time to really reach out. So I think it's just a matter of identifying your purpose and then reaching out to somebody in your field.
Okay. And how do you handle, like the old saying goes, sometimes when you get to a certain point, you can send an elevator back down, but not everybody gets on.
Yeah.
So how do you handle that? Because it's probably people close to you, family members or friends that just like, man, I'm not with it, or so how do you kind of deal with it and continue to move forward?
It's a quote, it's like, people buy to the leader before they buy to the vision. Mm-hmm. So I feel like you just got to lead by example. Like, you're not going to be able to change everybody. Right. But the way you shoot or model, like, your brand and the way that you carry yourself, like, people will eventually just follow you as a person. Mm-hmm. And you just lead by example. That's all what you can do, for real.
Okay.
Anything else, Cardell? All right, so just, I was just
saying, you can go, you want to announce the panel or you want to wait?
It don't matter.
No, please let us know who's on it.
Okay, so we got...
you got this platform, take advantage of it. Tell us who's on it.
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to be hosted by Davy J. DeVirgo. He's a founder of The Lunch Table. Tiffany Davis, she's an aerospace engineer from Georgia Tech University, something like 8 figures. So, like, we have those in the DMV. Like, Marlon Beck, I played basketball at Murray at Binghamton. Now he's at Georgetown University, a graduate student in the digital sports marketing program. Kwame Trice, he went to Howard with me. He's a motivational speaker, entrepreneur. He got locked up at 14 years old. Did juvenile, did school at high school, got his GED in high school, got accepted into Howard, became one of the members of Barack Obama's, I hope my brother, I forgot what it's called, but he was in that. My Brother's Keeper, yeah, he was in my Brother's Keeper program. Now he's doing amazing things in Philly. He's coming down to us. Antoinette Tony, she's a graduate of Virginia State University. She's a community leader, a teacher as well. Aaron Garnes, social media influencer from Towson University. Jasmine Escobar, she moving to Cali to be a professional dancer, but she's going to be here for May to come to our panel event. Dr. William Blake, he's an educator. They call him the coolest principal. He's from Wise. He was at the Neighborhood Awards when they was when Steve Harvey was doing the community awards here.
The Hoodie Awards.
The Hoodie Awards, yeah. Then you got Joshua Green, founder of Triple Threat Training. I know y'all know who that is. And then Terica Walker, entrepreneur, young female boss, doing their thing. So we have a very wide range of people who represent different realms. So we want to be able to attract the whole community. So there's no excuses. You can see people from all over. So That was the goal.
Well, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're proud of you guys for last year's event. We hope this year's does double as
Appreciate
well
that.
as last
I appreciate that. Appreciate that.
We're going to be paying attention. We hope it reaches triple the amount of minds that message you receive. We believe it's a really positive message.
Thank you.
We appreciate what you guys are doing.
Thank you. Thank you.
So wish you nothing but continued success, and definitely for this upcoming event that y'all killed us.
Will do. Thank you so much.
Nah, no problem, man. Thank you for stopping by. This is just the first segment of tonight's show. We got a lot to come. Up next, Cardell's going to tell you who stood out at the Adidas Gauntlet this past weekend. We got another clip from 9-4-50, Jamal Hayward. That's always fun. I got a little DC United update, not too much because they were off last week. And then, our Wizards draft series continues. Yeah, we know they're in the playoffs, but you guys can multitask for a second. It's easy to watch the games and kind of see what would be nice if they had it. I know it can't be that hard. I know you're thinking it there sometimes while you're watching the game. I know we are. So stick with us right here tonight on The Focus. We're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, Cardell's going to tell you guys about the Adidas Gauntlet and who stood out. Welcome back to The Focus. I tell you, he's acting up during the break.
No, I'm not.
You guys following along.
Don't listen online.
That's what's going on. But want to definitely thank Keon Hill for stopping by. I wish him success with this upcoming event. Definitely hope that it goes over well. But Cardell, as usual, you spent some time in the gym this past weekend. We both spent some time in Capital One, but this wasn't Capital One. A little bit more grassroots compared to that. So who stood out this past weekend, man?
Just for people to know, the Adidas circuit, people know about Nike Under Armour. Well, Adidas came to DC. They were at 4 different places all around the country. It was a really big session. So for the DC session, they had it at, I think it's called the Athletic Republic. Used to be called Run and Shoot. So everybody knows exactly what I'm talking about when I say that. If you play basketball in this area,
right?
Yeah, exactly. So
what is that? I'm sorry. It's Run and Shoot. It will always be Run and Shoot.
Exactly. I don't even know why they changed the name, but
exactly.
I just wanted to kind of focus in on the local players, especially with it being the beginning of the season, everybody getting started. And some names you may recognize, some you may not. But I'm going to start off with Team BBC point guard, Adrian Ace Baldwin, cover guy for my current issue. He 5'11", point guard class of 2020. He stood out because normally in the first session, a lot of the players, it's chaos. They just, especially they seen the coaches there for the first time, they just going 100 miles per hour. They haven't settled into one another. Chemistry is not yet all the way there, so it's chaos. He's just poised, and that's what makes him the elite point guard he is. He's a true floor general. He controlled the game, and he controlled games without needing to score a point. He led Team BBC to a 2-2 record. After the weekend, which was 4 games, he finished. He's currently 4th in assists on the circuit. He stood out with his poise, IQ, and skill, and he executed at will. Just being the consummate point guard, especially on these type of circuit teams where everybody is the man on their high school team. So it's easy for guys to come in and want to do their own thing. It's not going to work because everybody, that guy. So you got to kind of gel, and he makes it easy for everybody to gel with his play. He averaged 10.5 points, 3.5 assists per game on 50% shooting. And in 4 games, he only turned the ball over 3 times. That's what I'm saying. So, efficient play. Can't say even more. The offer's going to pile in. Matter of fact, I think he just got offered by your favorite school. So,
I saw it.
Oh, you saw it? So.
Hey, look, little favorite, little retweet. I pay a little attention here and there.
So, but I'm going to move forward with Abdul Kareem Coulibaly, excuse me. He plays for New World, 6'9" forward, 2019, going into senior year. He averaged 10.3 points and 6 rebounds on 50% shooting as well. A talented forward, man. He gives New World a kind of solid, inside-out threat. Most teams don't have. He helped New World finish 2-2 as well. Which included a 19.9 rebound performance against the New York Jayhawks, where he shot 75% from the field. When he plays within himself, he's a monster. When he gets in trouble is when he try to do too much, getting the rebound, going coast to coast and stuff, trying to dribble through the whole team.
Right.
Getting on the perimeter, jab, trying to be KD and stuff like, man, just stay within yourself and you'll be much more effective. And right now he's currently the 4th leading rebounder on the circuit. Another guard from New World, Jordan Harrison. He might be, to me, the most underrated player in the area because of his size. A lot of people sleeping on him because he's about 5'11", 6 feet. But the boy can play. That's all I know. Every time I see him, he gets it done. Right now, he's the 5th leading scorer on the circuit at 12.8 points per game, averaging 3 rebounds. He shot 50% from the field and 47% from 3 for the weekend in 4 games. Yeah. So right now, he's arguably the most efficient scorer on the circuit currently. Same way, a lot of guards were out of control, turning the ball over, driving, and the 3-4 people. Now he let the game come to him, and that's his edge. And he took teams apart strategically. He can score from all 3 levels. He's a willing defender. I saw him routinely get up 94 feet, defend and stuff like that. So one thing I want to see him improve more in as making players better around him. But I understand he shared point guard duties with Ian Till, who's a point guard in his own right. So that might be it. And with his scoring ability, they might need that depending on what the coach sees. So that might affect it. But now, he has the tools to be a dangerous complete guard as he develops. He gets knocked because of his size, and he doesn't play above the rim. People fall in love with the athleticism, but I just know he's one of them kids that, when he gets to college, he's going to be one of those guys that's just killing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then you're like, oh, man, he was good. How come we didn't hear about him? Because y'all going off the flashy and, stuff that jump out of you instead of looking at the game. Thank you. So I can see him kind of definitely being those type of player. Sharif Kenny played for Team Loader Virginia, 6'4" guard, class of 2019, averaged 9.3 points a game on 54% shooting from the field, 71% shooting from deep. He's a walking bucket. He always has, man. He's just a natural scorer, got a great feel. You need a bucket, ISO within the team concept, he can get it done. One thing I want to see him bring to the floor, and I've been waiting to see him get it since I've been watching him for the past few years, is, he got to improve in other aspects. Because it's basically like if he's not scoring, what is he giving you?
You got to contribute in another way.
Exactly. And he's not always consistent being a defender and making plays and rebounding. But he has good size for a guard, athleticism. And like I said, man, you need a scorer, you need a bucket, he'll get you one. He'll get to the free throw line. He just got a natural feel to score the ball. Josh Nickelberry, another kid from Team Loader Virginia, 6'5", class of 2019, averaged 11.5 points on 2.8 rebounds, 37% shooting from the field. Talented combo guard. When he gets it going offensively, he's unstoppable. He's hard to deal with. He didn't have the most efficient weekend as far as shooting the ball, but he showed in spurts, how lethal he can be. Plays hard defensively, but I would like to see him become more disciplined defending. He sent opponents to the free throw line a lot, reaching when he don't have to because he's got quick enough feet to stay in front of guys. I think he led the team this weekend with fouls with 9, and that's not cool for a guard. And you're not really banging, you just, moving with other guards, But the talent is there because he has offers from North Carolina, Florida, and North Carolina State, just to let you know. So, the boy can do it when, he just play a little smarter, it'd be a wrap. Earl Timberlake, y'all heard about him out of DeMatha.
Champion, right?
Yeah. Team Loaded Virginia, 6'6", explosive guard, class of 2020. Averaged 8.3 points, 5.3 rebounds, 3.5 assists per game. He didn't have the most efficient game shooting either. He shot 33%, but he did everything else. That's what I like. He didn't soak or let it affect his game. He said, I'm going to go get rebounds. I'm going to make plays for others. I'm going to strap up. That's what makes him an elite talent in that class, man. And that's what I love about him. He's going to make an impact one way or another. And, his efficiency and his playmaking was on hand because he only turned the ball over three times the entire weekend, and, on the AAU circuit, if you only turn the ball over like that, especially when it's up and down, it's not like school where you kind of playing more system-oriented offense, man. Yeah, they back and forth, and you only turn the ball over 3 times. That's amazing, man. Defensively, he was a pest. And like I said, he focused on other things to compensate for him having, poor shooting throughout the weekend, which shows some maturity as a player. To me, I love his talent. The sky's the limit. He could be a great combo guard as he moves into college and stuff like that. And then, keep putting in the work. I wouldn't be surprised to see him playing 82 games and down the road. He has that type of talent. Last but not least, Anthony Walker III plays for Team BBC, 6'10" forward, class of 2019. He averaged 11.5 points, 3 rebounds, 60% from the field, and 60% from three-point range. A lot of people might know who he is because he's the other forward that complimented LaKeel Harnett on Perry Hall that won the state championship in 4A this past March. And that was my first time really seeing him there, and it basically just carried over to what he's doing now. To me, he's one of the more talented players in the area. He shined, man. 6'10", explosive athlete, can play both forward spots. His versatility is what overwhelms opponents because if you put a real big on him, he's going to take him outside. If you put a smaller big on him, he can take him on a block and go to work. And one thing I like about him is he's a willing shot blocker. He protects the rim. He's not one of them kids that's going to shy away. And he had a great game where he had 16 points on 85% shooting. So that tells you when he figures, when he recognizes a weakness, he sticks to it. He keeps trying to attack that. And that's rare for kids that's young, man. They might be all over the place, man. Like to us, it might be clear you got an advantage.
Right.
Next thing you know, I'm going to go shoot threes or something like, man, you taking your whole team and yourself out of rhythm. So expect major. He has some mid-majors, but expect major offers to come soon.
The last one definitely sound intriguing. Definitely sound intriguing. But thank you as always.
No doubt.
For sharing the standouts, and shout out to those players for making that list. Oh man! All right, so we started this last week.
Right, breakdown.
It's one of our 2 new segments or series here. The breakdown, courtesy of 9450.
Yep. Jamal
Hayward. So what we got this week? We know last week it was up and under.
Right.
This week you said it's snaking off the pick.
Snaking the screen.
Snaking the screen.
And it's common sense. Come around the screen, and you kind of dribble and kind of snake around the screen so the defender can't really stick with you.
Right.
And it helps you create space so you can get a jumper off or make a decision, make a play, or get to the lane or whatnot. So he just really breaking down, how to use the screen, the spacing, the footwork and everything, minor details that make that move effective.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to let it cue that video up right now and check out this week's breakdown from 9450. And we're going to take a break right after that. So we'll see you guys after the breakdown video. On the other side of this break, you're watching the Focus TV.
450 breakdown on snaking the screen. We're going to walk through the move slowly. Then we're going to do it a little bit more speed so that you guys can get the move and do it more efficiently. So I bring my man down, level to the screen, then I attack the screen. I have the chair here as the screen, so now that I can get low, my right hand touches the seat so I can sit down. I then throw the ball, snaking it closely to the chair. I can't take the extra dribble, but I don't need it, right into the shot. So, going through with a little bit more speed, bring it down here, come off, low, throw it, up.
All right, welcome back to the Focus again. Want to shout out 9450 and Jamal Hayward for that new series. So, got a quick little DC United update. The last time I talked to you guys, they just got their first win of the season in their second home away from home match, and that was out in Annapolis at Navy Marine Corps Stadium. Their next home game is not until July 14th, but that's going to be at Audi Field, their new stadium.
Oh, that's what it's called. Okay.
Yeah. Audi. Put that bread up. Yeah, Audi.
Okay.
Yeah, big time. They got, looking forward to see what that looks. All the renderings are amazing. I just can't wait to finally see it. Because the last time I saw it was at like one of the, I think it was like the groundbreaking ceremonies.
That's what I thought she was going to say.
Or like the topping off ceremony when they put the last beam in place, which was cool. So you could kind of see the structure coming to life. And maybe I need to go get FIFA so I can see it, like the digital rendering on FIFA. Trying to get an excuse to get the game. All right. But this week, man, last week, it was a week off. Just the team, just trying to stay busy, stay active. You know, you want to keep momentum going. Is, you know, just in sports period, you come off a win, you want to get to the next game almost as soon as possible. It's a wonderful feeling, especially if it took you a while to get your first win of the year. So just last week, you know, I had a couple scrimmages. Was at training this morning, you know, just trying to fine tune some things, keep improving. This is still a team with a lot of new faces. People still trying to get used to each other, still trying to gel. That's going to take some time. And then, you know, for players that are a little nicked up, it's going to, you know, just waiting for them to kind of work through that process of getting a clean bill of health. So get over to MyMonosports.com this week. I got some sound from Coach Olsen from this morning. Probably have that up either tomorrow or Thursday. But this Friday's game is on the road. Of course, I told you they're not going to be at home again until July 14th outside of practice. So this week's home game is against Philadelphia. You know, always fun. You know, Ben talked this morning a little bit about you kind of see it as a rivalry or whatnot. So I'm gonna let you wait to see that interview for that answer. But it should be a good match. You know, I just want to see if DC United. There were some things that they did well the last game, in terms of players starting to kind of mesh and combine, get used to each other. Because that's the thing, you know, even in other sports, you know, you get new faces together. Everyone kind of wants to play unselfish to a fault. Right. And sometimes, like some of the things that makes you special, you know, you're not as confident to kind of do that because it might seem selfish at times. Because I need to know where you're going to be, where you're going to make your run, where you like the ball, where I like the ball. So, you know, it's just all part of that process as of right now. It's going to be a long year. But, you know, that's what they have next on their docket. On to the other new series we have, Wizards Draft Series. This has been fun because it's forcing us to look at different players. Yeah. And I know for me, you know, like I know Robert Williams, that was like a crush of mine off jump, so that wasn't hard. So today was kind of like, Cardell texted me last night, told me the guy he picked, and I'm like, all right, cool. I wish I hit you first so I could take him, right? But, you know, I had a hard decision to make today. But we're going to keep it going. You want to go first this week?
Yeah, I'll go ahead.
Okay, and then I'll follow up.
The first guy, you know, I had to look at, you know, really scouted was Brandon McCoy. I actually saw him at he was in Allen Iverson, the inaugural Allen Iverson Classic last year down at Virginia.
And they just had this the past week, right?
Yeah, this is the second year. Last year was the first year they had it down where he's from. Actually at the same high school, the church where Portsmouth is held or whatnot. So, you know, he's you know, 7-footer, you know, UNLV freshman, 19 years old. He will be 20 by the time the season starts. So, you know, he wanted to reclassify kids, but he's projected late the first to second round. Averaged 16.9 points, 10.3 rebounds a game on 54% shooting from the field, 72% from the free throw line, along with 1.8 blocks per game. He actually had a 33.10 rebound performance against the potential number 1 pick DeAndre Ayton in Arizona. So the talent is there. You know, the thing with him is he's very raw. You know, he's not as polished out clearly as Ayton. You know, but he does play hard. He plays like a traditional big man. He protects the rim, and he runs the floor well. He can pass out the double team when he needs it, but he still need more polish on the block. Obviously, need to be able to step out and hit jumpers. His feel for the game is not the same as Ayton and even Bombers to a certain extent. He's still rigid. Like a lot of times we see him play, he'll get the ball in a block and it's clear, like, you know, just go ahead and make a move, but he kind of hesitates.
Kind of has to read it first before reacting.
Like when he played against Arizona, it was single coverage, so because they ain't really expect him. It was early in the season, so they didn't really know he was going to go to work. But when he started scoring, they started sending doubles.
Right.
And when the double would come, they would send him the double from different angles, and he would kind of, you know, pause and be hesitant to make a play. And that's just a natural feel. Because when you get a natural feel, you invite the double team. Like when you see Joel Embiid or Anthony Davis, and not comparing them to those guys because those are better. Well, not Embiid, but he been in the league for a minute. Anthony Davis been in the league for, you know, all-star level. Those guys, they got a natural feel. They invite the double team because they know somebody's going to be open. It's just a matter of recognizing who's open. He still got to learn that. Obviously, he's 1 year in college, so I'm not going to hold that against him, man. He has a 7'2" wingspan, 9'1" standing reach. But just like last week when I was talking about Mitchell Robinson, he has a soft touch. So that means he get the right mechanics. you know, he could develop into a jump shooter, especially on the coaching staff like Brooks, the way they work those players. The improvement's going to come. You have no choice. You know, I know a lot of people don't see what we see, being behind the scenes, behind the curtain, so to speak. But they put those boys to work, and it's skill specific, and what they work on is skills that will cater to what they're going to see out in game action for that system.
Right.
So you ain't just out there just shooting threes because, you know, you're just outside the three-point line. Nah, I got to be specific, like coming off screen shooting threes, because more than likely you're going to be screening for Wall and Bill, so you got to be ready. And that's how you be effective. It got to be effective work. I can see that happening with him. You know, he also got to learn how to move without the ball. Sometimes he just stand on the block and just watch. You know, when they rotate the ball around, they might not be able to get it to him. He just stand there and watch. You got to still make a press, go screen, or just make yourself be a threat. Go fill a spot. You can't just stand there though. And you know, that just, like I said, that comes with not having a great feel for the game, being young and stuff like that. But you know, he can score. He battles on the offensive end as well. He's not as strong as he will be and needs to be. You know, like I said, he's a project. It's going to be some room. So, but I know he's in that range with the Wizards with draft, and he fits a glaring need for them because they have no rim protection and they don't have nobody that can score consistently in the paint.
Yeah.
And that's what's hurting them. You know, like they need Wall to kind of set them up all the time. With his talent and athleticism and stuff like that, his potential, he won't need that down the line. You know, even now, he can still come in and kind of play. I'm not saying he will be DeAndre Ayton, but he can be that. He can play that role, so to speak. You know, you got to put a disclaimer out because as soon as you say that, people won't think you're saying that right now.
You got to put disclaimers out because you'll skip the part where gets skipped over.
Yeah, they don't hear that part.
And you know, he got to get stronger with the ball. You know, I can't stand that. We see that now with some of the Wizards. Yeah, we see that with some of the Wizard bigs. You know, they get bumped and lose the ball on the way. You got to get stronger with the ball, take that contact so you get to the free throw line. His footwork can improve. You know, sometimes he travels, he stumbles, you know, trying to make moves. He got to improve his ball handling, obviously, because even on the block, sometimes you got to face up, and they're going to be back to the basket all the time. And if they put a good defender on you, especially now with small ball, they're going to put a smaller, quicker big on you, and they're going to be waiting for you to dribble because they know you can't dribble. You know how lethal those scouting reports are. And he can't have tunnel vision where it's just one track mind. He get the ball, I got to make a move. No, somebody might be cutting, you missed the play. You know, and like I said, these are all things he has to learn. And that's what happens when you pick a one-and-done type player. Some come in and kill, like a Jason Tatum and those type of guys, but other guys need time.
They got to finish that maturation process that they didn't get to finish by not staying in school.
Right.
And defensively, like I said, he can protect the rim. But the major part of defense is on ball.
Right.
He picks up a lot of fouls because he guard with his hands. What we see sometimes, a lot of times from going tag marky, they put their hands, and that's how they pick up fouls and got to go to the bench. You got to get low, be able to move your feet. So to me, that just shows he hasn't really, truthfully, been drilled how to play defense, get low and stuff like that, because he has the mobility to do so. You know, so, you know, while it might be easier to guard the guys like Embiid, what are you going to do against Anthony Davis, who's quick? Or
he's going to take you out in the deep end.
Or Draymond, you know, who's really quick, you know, 6'7". He really look, you know, you looking like something to eat, and he going to go to work. So once he get all those little things and details, fundamental things down, he could be a force if the Wizards were to draft him, but it's up to him.
All right, so I think this week I probably have the flip side of the type of big you just brought up, but I also have a big, just like last week we both had bigs, so it's kind of a common recurring theme here in terms of guys that we were looking at. So Jonte Porter, we all know about the other Porter, Michael Porter.
Right.
You know, all-world talent. You know, hurt his back. It shouldn't affect him in the least bit. Everybody in the NBA knows what that kid's about. So we're going to talk about his younger brother, Jonte. 6'10", 6'11". I look forward to seeing the official measurement because nobody has a consistent, you know, because people shave heights up and down. I'm waiting for, waiting for an official measurement. So I just want to throw that disclaimer out there. But 6'10", 240. If you look at him, I don't know if I believe it's a true 240 anyways. He literally has the build of a small forward, even though he's a big. So, you were talking about the kid you mentioned about being raw. Right. This kid's raw in some aspects, but in different regards, he's a little bit more polished, or I won't say polished, but might have a better feel. Than the player that you brought up. All right, so 6'10", 6'11", 240. He's one of those more of today's bigs, the stretchy bigs, more of a stretchy four. He's not really reason I'm looking at him as a center. He doesn't have the mobility to guard fours. So that's something, if the Wizards get their hands on him, they're going to have to do a lot of work on his body to get him prepared to deal with the fives. Because he might have a little bit of a foot speed advantage with fives. He's not going to have it with the fours. He's not going to, can't play three on the next level. What I do like from an offensive standpoint, with a point guard like Wall, we saw what Mike Scott does when he's in there. He can step out and hit the three. So he averaged pretty much 10 points last year, 9.9 points, 6.8 rebounds a game, 2.2 assists, shot 36% from three, and 75% from the line. 7-foot wingspan. He had 55 blocks in 33 games. It's about 1.7 blocks a game. He's solid. Like, offensive game is solid. In the post, it just lacks power. Everything in the post, if you see some of the clips, they're good moves, but everything's kind of like, it's like a struggle layup, like a guard layup or a wing layup. There's not powerful, stick my foot in the ground, drop step, and I'm gonna dunk this. This is not Robert Williams. All right, so he can finish down there. He finished at a rate about 63.2% according to hoopsmath.com, which isn't horrible. He has solid hands in the paint. He can finish. It's just his body's not mature enough to finish over and through people at this point. I like that we already talked about he could shoot. I like the fact that he can stretch the floor because more spacing, again, with the type of guards the Wizards have, open driving lanes. And since he's not 6'8", big enough to play at the 5. That's definitely a positive. And one of the things is defensively, I know we don't talk about that a lot with young players, but it seems like he has a feel. He understands where he is athletically, where you're not going to see him leave the ground and just chase shot blocks. So to me, I appreciate that he was able to get 1.7, knowing that he stays within himself, and a lot of those came from help side blocks. So that means you got some understanding of when to rotate over, not leaving your man too early, how to work with another big down there. Weaknesses, got to get stronger. If you're going to be a big, you have to get stronger. I know it says 240. Man, look, he needs to be, I feel like that's juiced up. I'm not tripping off the height, but that's not 240. And if that's 240, that's not an NBA 240.
It's a light 240.
He needs to get there. And again, he doesn't play above the rim. And that's not to say that he's not going to be ineffective at the next level. But you got to keep that in mind. That's why the strength's going to matter. Because so if you can get away with it, but you got to be strong enough to create separation. That's where it's going to come from. He's a deceptive athlete. Like, he's not a plotter, but he's not an explosive athlete. But he has a quick jump, which I do appreciate. He gets off the ground pretty quick. But this is not someone who's going to routinely finish over the rim. As you see, I don't know where we are in the clip, but it might be one dunk in that clip. Just one. And that was like a running start from beyond the three-point line. And the type of big he is, I just think it's going to be something where they're really going to have to work on the physical part of his game. I like the rest of his game. I like the feel. I think he knows what to do in the post, but you can't do it because your body won't allow you to down there. You're not big enough to bang. So you can try to create separation. You'll see some of the clips, like he tries to make a move, like you'll see a solid post move, but he can't finish it all the way, and then you go to the struggle layup because you're not big enough to turn the corner, create your space up top, and that's it. But I like the kid. If they're not going to get a polished big at that position, all right? So this is just, we're going to live in realities here. Work is going to have to be done. The good thing is you have one of the better staffs in the NBA at developing young talent. So that's why it might look like a reach. I would be perfectly fine if, with the guys that we're sharing with you, Mitchell Robinson has a high upside. Robert Williams, you kind of know what he could kind of be because 2 years in school. The two guys we mentioned tonight, they got a ways to go. But what I do like is they offer you something that the bigs on the roster currently do not offer you. And that's what's important. And then you think about what they can be in terms of plug and play with a point guard like Wall. That's going to make up for a lot of their room to grow offensively. So, like, even with I forgot the kid's name. With Brandon McCoy, you're not going to have to throw the ball to him on a block. You're playing with a guard like Wall. You set the screen, they're not going to be thinking about you. Even when Wall drives, your man's going to go with Wall too, for the most part. You're just cleaning up. Jonte, when you set that screen and pop, those are wide open threes you're going to be getting. And the spacing is going to be different. But again, we've seen bigs in the past be okay defensively playing under the rim. But he just got to get his body to where it needs to go. But he's an intriguing prospect. I definitely didn't watch any Missouri games until I heard Michael Porter came back. So I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to do that. So, it was cool kind of taking a chance to see what the kid did this year. And I like the fact that, lefties.
I did notice that in the clip.
You know, I know you'd appreciate that. All right, so moving on. You want to share any Wizards playoff thoughts, or just jump straight into rapid fire?
Wizards is simple for tomorrow, man. Defend.
Yep.
You know, I looked up their defense. They look much better at home. Games won. You know, Wizards allowed 114 points, 53% shooting, and 53% from three-point range. All right, got beat down. Game 2 was even worse. Allowed 130 points on 57% shooting from the field, 37% from deep, and was out-rebounded 55-40. Another beat down. They come home. They hold the Raptors to 103 points on 45% shooting from the field, turn them over 19 times. They win. Game 4, we were there. Toronto jumped out on them. But I wasn't worried because they were playing defense. You see what I'm saying? And while they couldn't score, Toronto couldn't really get that lead. Like, all right, it was still within striking range. So I'm like, to me, they'll put the pressure on Toronto because their defense was on. The Wizards' defense was on point. They held Toronto to 98 points on 43% shooting from the field and 38% shooting from deep, while turning the Raptors over 18 times. They won the game. They came back and won. Even with Brad Beal fouling out with 5 minutes left, they came back and won. We've been saying it all season for them, the key is the defense. When they play defense, like they've been playing at home the last 2 games, they can rumble with anybody because they can score the ball. You see what I'm saying? Look, the series is tied 2-2, and I think the Raptors are averaging 111 points against them, and the Wizards only averaging 103. Really, we should be, if you look at that, you don't know nothing about basketball, you're like, how is it 2-2? With that, gap as far as point averages. So that tells you what it is. They gotta bring that same type of intensity to Toronto. They can't let certain calls get them down with their shots off and everything. That's one thing I like what I saw in Game 4. Their shots was off, but they still mental toughness. They still stuck with it and defended. They got to do that in Toronto, or they're not gonna have no hope. Especially with hearing Van Fleet, might be back.
Right.
He's one of their best. Yeah, he's one of their best 3-point shooters. So that's another potential threat. So you got to be ready for that. You got to defend. And shout out to Kelly Oubre, man. According to Zach Rosen from Off the Bench podcast, works with the Wizards. In games 3 and 4, he held opponents to 419 shooting and forced 8 turnovers in 101 possessions. So his impact on that end has been crazy. I mean, he's been even DeRozan, like that one play, DeRozan hit that tough shot, but Oubre was all over him, man. It's just
else you could do. You got to live with the tough
you just shake his hand after that, and that's why DeRozan is who he is. Professional scorer. Because anybody else less than that he not even getting a shot off. Kelly gonna either rip it, block it, or he gonna shoot a horrible shot. So shout out to him, man. But they gotta keep it up. That's the only thing. Their defense don't come. Toronto gonna win easily. It's as simple as that.
The only thing I gotta add, a big part of going to that defense, they were more physical than Toronto, games 3 and 4, and that goes right along with that defense. You're physical, the intensity stays up defensively, and you're gonna get what you need. You can't give ground, and that's what didn't happen in games 3 and 4. Like you said, they were down, but Toronto, DeMar DeRozan had 35 points on 10 of 29 shooting, and umpteenth trips to the foul line. In the first quarter, he was 0 for 5 and took 12 trips to the line. So that 35 points, you got to look at it fully. It wasn't like games 1 and 2. And this is one of the NBA's more efficient scorers, especially the way that he goes about his business. He was taking a lot of contested threes. They weren't letting him get into the paint at will. And when he got into the paint, those were a lot of tough shots that he hit. Like you said, professional scorer. It's a reason he's a pro.
And another thing, who came off the bench and killed the Wizards in game 1 and 2?
CJ.
You ain't hear from him in DC.
I mean, they made sure that he didn't have life.
You gotta continue there, man. That's what I'm saying. You gotta continue there. So.
You got a couple questions to wrap before I got some time, maybe a couple questions.
All right, we go ahead. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
It's been a while.
Yes, sir, it has. Outside Utah's play being a key factor, obviously. Who's more to blame for OKC's 3-1 deficit? Billy Donovan, Russell Westbrook, Melo, or PG-13, or all of the above?
You coming with the heat on the first question? I tell you were first.
It's fine. I was ready. Okay. I'm going to say everybody.
Okay.
I think it's a collective effort. I think part of it is effort. I think part of it is, just not sticking to the game plan and not doing what they're supposed to be doing on a daily basis. I think they overlooked Utah as a team. Even though Utah came into the playoffs hot, I think they overlooked them as a team. I thought they felt like, we could take them. And I think that now it's the opposite, and they're looking at each other like, what are we doing? So I definitely think it's a collective issue. I think all all of the above. Melo, Russ. I think they're not doing what they've been doing for the majority of the year, because I can't say all of the year because they had their downfalls as well. But I definitely think they're just not playing as a team, and quite frankly, they're putting me to sleep. So. Because I haven't been able to watch the end of the last 2 games because I'm watching it and I'm like, what are y'all doing? So, yeah, that's my answer, all of the above.
Yeah, I'm taking Coach Donovan out the equation. You got stars on this team.
Very true.
Per many people, right? These are guys people feel are all league guys. There's no excuse for this. Utah's coming about their business like professionals. They're executing their coach's game plan almost to a T. And I think with Russ, sometimes his worst enemy is himself.
Mm-hmm.
I think like even last night, I think it was last night, 2 nights ago, last night that they played.
Last night.
Last night, okay. I think 2 games ago he made the remark about Rubio, and I felt like he took that too personal, and just went away from the game plan. There's no reason to be all the way up on him like that. I'm gonna take a wild guess and be like, some of the shots that he's taking, you live with, to not compromise your defense to a degree. And that played a role. You got Melo where Father Time just hit. There's nothing you can really do about that. And some of the greats prepared themselves for when that time comes. I don't know if that's what he did or didn't do. But, the struggle's real right now. Like reality sucks. I'm sure there's things he wants to do, but his body's not letting him do it at the moment. For Paul George, I mean, sometimes
push off P.
Look, man, the whole playoff P thing, I'm gonna reserve the right to be petty at this moment, but that's just my issue with them. Just show up and come to work, man. And sometimes things are exactly what they are. We get in a rush sometimes to crown people to be certain things in this league. Sometimes you gotta let people earn it, and I think that's one of the things with Paul George. Very, very gifted, and I'm just gonna leave it at that.
I mean, I definitely look at Russell Westbrook, you being the leader, point guard, MVP. Can't allow yourself to get caught up in stupid, I want to say another phrase, I'm going to say DM contest, that takes away from the team. And this is why a lot of people don't like Russ. All that bravado and stuff is cool sometimes. But I like what he said the other night, but instead of Rubio, why don't you go guard, shut down Donovan, man. Yeah. You know who the head is. Go shut him down. That's when you really taking on that challenge and stuff like that. And like old school, I was taught the real move in silence. You don't say it, you just do it.
Mm-hmm.
So the people who the loudest one in the room is the weakest one in the room. And right now the teams, they doing the most barking, OKC, and they getting exposed and they looking like the weaker when the game's on, they looking like the weaker team. They're the one imploding and stuff. They trying to be fake physical and stuff. I mean, come on, man. I'm seeing Ingles hit threes and looking at Paul George like, what? Like, dude, y'all not doing nothing to me.
After every one,
and Melo, this is my career-long criticism of him, man. He never developed other aspects of his game where he didn't score, he could still be effective. It's just like when right now, he's not scoring. What are we getting out of him? It's not even it's nothing. So you having him out there to hopefully get going.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not really making an impact, and that's the problem. And honestly, he's getting swallowed up by Gobert and Favors. That size and athleticism, he can't get going on the block, so he got to stay outside. And if he ain't hitting, it's hers. Honestly, Paul George is the only one really who that. That's why I'm like Russell Westbrook. You can't feed in that. Like yesterday, he was hitting tough shots. He had it going. Hey, Malcolm, this might be a night he got to go for 50 for y'all to win.
Right.
So that's just certain things. Last question.
Yep.
John Wall said he's looking forward to seeing Drake after Drake's sweep projection, saying was wrong. He said Raptors gonna sweep him in DC. But my real question is, why don't more people around here appreciate what John Wall brings?
All right.
Because it's DC.
You done with that?
I mean, I just feel like it's been like that forever. It's happening to John now. It's happened to so many players in the past, which is why you always see, like I used to always laugh at the fact that there would be so many players that would, get traded from the Wizards, leave the Wizards, get cut or whatever, and they would go on to other teams and produce and do well. And then there's so many people in the area that are like, dang, why didn't we keep him? We should have kept him. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, the Wizards have had their busts, like players that they probably should have never picked up and they still not working out, wherever they are in the world. But I mean, it's DC. I hate to say it, it's DC athletics, and I mean, I hope one day it changes. People, you think every year that they'll see what these players produce, like John Wall, and how much they give and everything, and truly appreciate him, and not just appreciate him when they're winning. Because I feel like that's the biggest thing. They just appreciate him, when he cooking and he out there doing everything. But as soon as he not playing, oh, we can get rid of him. We doing good without him, or everything like that. So to me, it's just DC sports.
Go ahead, Cardell, and then I'll close it out.
I mean, she pretty much said it. I mean, you know what I say? I say it's a crab area.
Yep.
You can't do anything positive around here without somebody throwing shade. Like I said on Facebook the other day, I like John Wall win the championship, and they were like, about time. It took 40 years. Like, they gonna just, and it's like, what? You see what I'm saying? That man gives his body. The team he inherited, the franchise he inherited was horrible after what happened with Gilbert Arenas, man. He ain't never ducked a challenge and stuff like that. He's still here fighting. How can you not respect it? Part of me wants him to leave and go win somewhere else, just like Ben and Rip and all those guys. And Chris Webb went to Sacramento with Sheed and all. So DC area fans can feel it and be like, nah, he's not the problem. You know what I'm saying? So he's far from it. Is he a flawed player? Everybody is. There's never been a perfect player on planet Earth. You know what I'm saying? But his good definitely more than outweighs his bad.
Definitely.
So live with it, man. But people gonna nitpick. That's their ignorance, whatever. Everybody know I love John Wall. So I hope he retire Wizard. But I won't be mad if he rolled to a team where he can, be more appreciated. And it ain't the organization; it's the fan base. So I know we see the team right there. They love Wall. So it is what it is.
Hey, man, they know where their bread is buttered. Just want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Get over to finestmag.com. Get over to mymonosports.com. We'll see you guys next week. Same time, same place. You're watching the Focus TV.